Good day. Welcome to Gordcast's live stream. As most of you are aware of, my youngest daughter, Ellison, who married yesterday, Evan Pent. And luckily enough, there were some family members who could make the wedding. And one of the family members on my side, he resides in Alberta, in Grand Prairie, is my brother Darin. And Darin grew up and played, I don't know, maybe from the time he started his minor soccer to when it all finished and he moved away. He moved away to Manitoba, back to Newfoundland in St. Lawrence, back to Alberta again, where he resides today. So I asked him when we were here in the sunny weather, would he like to do a one-on-one broadcast? And I am intrigued by the response that I get with broadcasts and the individuals, and I think everyone likes the fact that it's great for promotion. So anyway, first of all, I thank Darin for coming. I also will let Darin know any comments that I see coming in. Andrew Pro says, geez, look at himself. Awesome. Hope you're having a great time, Darin. That comes from Andrew Pro. I see Sean Barry there. I see, I see Corey Moore. I'm not sure it's Corey Moore. Corey Moss came up. But anyway, Darin, first of all, thank you for making it here to our daughter's wedding, and yourself and your wife Sherry, and it's good to see you again, Darin. You're looking great. You're looking great. And he just told me prior to going on, he will be looking at going on a total health kick even once he goes back. And I know my brother Dave in St. John's is virtually at that now himself. So anyway, Darin, it's good to see you, Darin.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so if you can hear me, let me know that the audio and the video is coming through, because obviously we are many, many miles away. I see my oldest daughter, Melissa Burton, who is also at the wedding. She's here. She is tuning into the broadcast, and I had her on as a special guest for my Gordcast Hockey Talk. I believe that was on Tuesday, Monday night when passed. But anyway, that's from Melissa there. Now I see Regina Slaney's on. So Darin, okay, I'll get to, Darin is here today to talk about his soccer and talk about the many years he played with the Laurentians. Darin, first give me some background on your minor days in St. Lawrence. Darin?
We had a great run. We won pretty well every Newfoundland championship from the time I was under 11 years old to we were under 18s when we moved to first division. So we won it all. We had a great group of guys from Pickett to Barry and Bob, manager, and a whole lot, Aussies and Shanes, and lots of fun. Good group of guys, still stay in touch a little bit, and we all get together. It's no different like we missed any time. See Todd Lots in Calgary, he's still there, him and the Deans, and they're doing good, and the young fellas doing good with the hockey. A beautiful little man there to raise him, so he's really cool.
I know myself, Darin, that you were inducted into the St. Lawrence Soccer Hall of Fame, and I know you mentioned several of the coaches that you had a lot of respect and a lot of regard for at the minor level in St. Lawrence, as well as at the high school level. Darin, you want to name some of those, Darin?
Yeah, Junior Edwards was the biggest influence. He had us going young, him and Noel Slaney, and then we went to high school. We had Keith Farrell coaching, and Junior Edwards was always around, and Jim Loader, and you name it, was the who's who. And then yourself took over for a number of years and try to teach us the Gord Dunphy way. Yeah. As all the boys will remember, when I said about Marystown one time, I said they're coming in waves, and Junior said, they don't even know what a goddamn wave is in Marystown.
Okay, and anyway, you went on, and I know practically every season, Darin, I know one at a senior level, but for now I'll concentrate on the minor, Darin. I know Frank Slaney took that young team to New Brunswick, Darin, and you told me, and I can remember all of this actually too, guys. I had Darin Scott Bishop, a great friend of yours, and a great friend of Shane's, and a great friend of the family. Scott Bishop was around. I saw yourself and Harry and Scott all jumping into one bunk together, you know. It wasn't more like playing with the Laurentians. And that team that you had, that you were a part of, with Scott Bishop and Keith Jackman, again, let's say Noel Doyle was there. Bob Spearance was with your team as well.
Dion Kettle.
Yeah, Dion Kettle, another superstar there. And so, out of your players that you played with, Darin, at the minor level, then I'll go on to the senior. At the minor level, Darin, who would you figure was the best player? And that's hard questions, but you know what?
Yeah, you know what? 5 or 6 main core of the group was just so solid. You know, great, like everybody just, and we played to win for each other. Like we didn't play as individuals. That was the difference. We put that blue jersey on, everybody knew. We didn't give a shit who scored the goals and who stopped the goals. As long as we came up with the win, that's all we were about. And that's why we were so successful right through the minors up to the days I gave her up when I was 30 years old.
You know, Darin, Scott Bishop is here with a comment. He said he's here listening, and Darin, you're looking good. So anyway, Scott, I relayed that along. Anyone wants to relay a message, I try to make your comments a part of my Gord cast, which I think is giving the strength to the overall.
Tell Scott he could always score when we needed one anyway. So
yeah, Scott came through many a times. He played that right wing back. And if I were to have to name right wing backs there in the province that were, you know, all-time greats, I definitely feel Scott Bishop would be in that category.
100%. 100%. Scott had a good touch too around the net and a good strong defense.
Yeah, he had like almost like I kind of felt the higher the level, the higher, I guess, the performance you would get out of Scott Bishop. And
that was always our joke. We used to tell the rest they can play the regular season. We'll get ready to play playoffs.
Yeah. I also said I see Kevin Slaney there. Darin, I'm sure you know him from. He's in. I believe he's in British Columbia, and he goes through Alberta there in Grand Prairie quite regularly. Has become a good friend of the entire family. He says hello as well. Carrying on back to the minor days, to the trip to New Brunswick. Darin, we drifted away from that, and where Frank Slaney, Frankie Bitt, we called him growing up. Frank coached Darin. Tell us about that trip. Why was that trip so successful?
Well, we went up there. No one knew who we were. We were only a little town in St. Lawrence. I think I was 15 at the time. We had Frank coaching us. We had that main core group, you know, that we went through all the way with, and we went up there and we won the, back then they used to have, first you played for the Mandate, and then you went to the National. We slaughtered everybody in that one, then we went and played the next level, and we did really well there. It was probably our best showing ever in a national event, because we were a good club team, you know, and then 5 or 6 of us played on every Newfoundland team. Like Tom Rawley said one time when we were playing with the Newfoundland team, and all the townies were bitching about too many St. Lawrences on the team. Tom said, look, I'm from Garnish. I wouldn't pick none of them, but they're all too good to leave off the roster.
Yeah, and I tell you the truth, like, when the Laurentians of the 70s, the 80s, I think we kind of fell. The big star in the 80s, I would have to say, probably from the Laurentians were, maybe it was Dion Kettle and Eddie Kelly. That would be the 2 stars, I think, from the 80s. Then on into, sorry guys if I'm leaving someone out, I do all this impromptu, and I don't have no papers, no books. I just know the game, know right from the past 50 years from the time the Laurentians got into it in 67. But this team, Darin, that you formed, or you know, we formed in the 90s, and the Laurentians had a big drought in the 80s because Holy Cross, St. Lawrence named the team of the 70s, Holy Cross were named team of the 80s, and the Laurentian team became team of the 90s. So, you know, it went back to Darin, and I remember taking you guys in the 90s where St. Lawrence had a drought. No doubt you had a very skillful team. But having said that, do you feel that it was the work that brought us back and put us on top?
Oh yeah, nobody worked as hard as we did in practice. No team in this world. We killed each other in practice. We trained hard. Everybody up there, like Norbert Dahl said one time, Norbert and Ozzy went home, they went up, picked up 2-4 beer and set up on the pipeline and cursed every 2 inches of it because he ran that hill so often. And that's what we, when it came push to shove, we all did that day in, day out. We knew what the end result was. It was all about winning. So it was good.
Well, again, I feel if you want to put on that Laurentian jersey, first of all, I think the association got the pressure that we have a historic franchise or a historic team, that I think that if you put on that jersey, that nothing is acceptable but it all. This, Darin, you know yourself that you struggle with your fitness, Darin, and I pushed you to the limit. And now when I see players on the field that are not fit, it kind of gets me down, because why are you so choosing to play at that high level? And now with all the I guess gymnasiums available, and knowing the purpose of diets and everything else, it's got to be imperative that you're fit, Darin.
Oh yeah, that's the number one. And like you say, what everybody better realize is everybody gets old. So your time to get yourself in shape to play that season, you probably got 10 to 15 years at it, and then you're done. Then you're going to be like me. Let's sit back and retire and enjoy the ride, because as long as you put everything in that you had, you'll be quite happy with it.
In your minor days, Darin, if there was one team, one tournament, one championship that you won in your minor days that stands out above the rest, anyone that you could name?
One tournament we went to, like the 3 St. Lawrence teams, our age group under 12 won, Shane, their age group under 14 won, and Dave and them won under 16. So the 3 teams came back, and that's when the St. Lawrence was a powerhouse anyway. And everybody remember our motorcade started at Beaver Pond. I think that one started at Sam Deer Pond. So everybody was quite happy to get on that fire track, and that was the best one I ever remember. As a whole collective group, we went from one field to the next, watching us all pick up all of our trophies. So it was quite exciting. So
thank you, Darin. Some of your comments coming in, guys. The sun is so bright here; it's right into the back of my camera, and even I'm not quite so sure where I have Darin at, even on the camera. But I apologize, I can't get to read them all out because the sun and the heat is, I guess, just so high, and the brightness of the sun is kind of bearing the vision that I've got here from being able to view what some of your comments are. So anyway, Darin, so your minor days, I can't remember you guys losing.
We never lost.
Never lost, eh?
Won every provincial title.
I see one comment came in there from Andrew Crow where he looked at Scott Bishop as clutch, and I definitely would have the feel that Scott was clutch in winning with the Laurentians, getting a number of clutch goals, which is important too, to be able to come through when all is on the line,
Yeah.
On to senior soccer. Darin, you started off senior soccer, you and Harry, and I guess Scott and all of that young team. You were probably playing first division when you were 17 years old, eh?
Yeah. And we had a few rough years in learning to win at that level, but
and you had Jack Sims there.
Jack's who I started out in first division with, and he was a great man, a great coach, and he taught us a lot. And then we went from 2 different coaches till you came along, and then finally we started winning with you, and basically the torch has been passed around, and it's been amazing how St. Lawrence has kept that going through the years, due to lack of work and people moving around. And not only are we lost us as young men to soccer, but we also lost our generations for kids. Like my boys, grew up in St. Lawrence, and then they moved away, and they haven't played soccer since at no level. And so too bad, because the community suffers on that end,
Yeah, and Darin, I can remember taking the team over in 1992, and we hadn't won for years. And in 1992, we had a 27-game schedule, and the 27, in 26 we were undefeated, and in 27 there we lost the final game to Holy Cross by a score of 2-1, where yourself got red carded. Anyway, give us a little flashback on that red card, Darin.
I sort of played a little extreme sometimes, and got my head got the better off me that day. And, I was just standing in the middle of the field. No one knew. Sean Brown did the heights of dirt to me, and I had no regret. I got the ball and I put him in the stands. And it's just one of those things you live and learn, but you also learn that the team's bigger than you. And one good thing with the core group we had, we all talked to each other, and the boys reined me in pretty good on that one too. They were really supportive, but you got to realize St. Lawrence comes first, not your own personal or whatever. And that was one of the few regrets I ever had, more for the team, not for what I did to him. I put myself ahead of the team on that one. The
only thing there, though, to be honest with you, and I was coach of that team, and I was very upset with the call on the play there. It was Ross Hart was that refereed that game, and it was actually there was no red card on the play. What happened was, I feel you hit him good, you hit him hard, and because of St. Lawrence, which I still don't agree with, the fence is just I don't know, be 6 feet away from the field. It wasn't your hit, it was the fence at the Laurentian soccer pitch that gave him the, I guess, hurt him, so put him where he eventually had a concussion. The concussion wasn't from your hit. No. The concussion was from hitting the fence in St. Lawrence.
Right.
And the other thing was, and it was Billy Breen went up and he told Ross. He said, Ross, if you don't red card him, I'll take control of this game. Next thing I know, Ross Hart goes over and hands you a red card. So I remember all of that too, which I thought wasn't fair. And earlier in the game, Mike Howell got hauled down inside the defender's shot line, and no red card. So we had some challenging time in order to get back on the top as well, because Holy Cross were the favorites, and the system leaned towards Holy Cross. Would you think so?
Yes, definitely. The problem is when you got refs coming out of St. John's, my reputation preceded me anyway. I played hard all my life, and that was I won lots of trophies for defense, so on and so forth. But I also everybody knew not to mess around with St. Lawrence. We all played tough, hard soccer. We played it in the rec center against each other, along on the field.
I didn't have enough cash.
Yeah, we also had, the following season, we knew we felt we lost once. So again, you learn how to play before you learn how to win. Right. The second year, we went back and we lost one game. I'll just put your mind to test here now. Your memory, Darin. Can you remember the one game we lost in 1993?
Either Marystone or Mount Pearl.
No, I tell you where it was. It was Felians came out home.
Oh, was it?
And
that's when Gord Stag Party goes on.
Yeah, and basically too, I felt that that in order to win, you can't win every game, and we had won every game. And when the Felians came out, I somewhat staggered our lineup. When I staggered our lineup, and Felians went away, so I said we won't get a repeat copy of what happened in '92. And then we went to the championship game. You remember the score at the championship game when we played Bjorn?
It was 1-0, wasn't it?
Yeah, 1-0. You know who scored that goal from center?
No.
It was Scott Bishop scoring that goal on Randy Banfield. So, it goes back, and then on from there, I believe Junior Edwards took over from 90, that would be 94, 5, 6, and 7, and I came back in 98. And the other thing I respect a lot, when I left and I went to Long, you were working in Grand Prairie, and you came back, and I haven't lost that, Darin, you putting family first, even before the Laurentian. When I coached Long, you came back and you played with the Long Shamrocks, and we done very good in the playoffs. Can you remember putting on the uniform with Lon for the first time?
Oh yeah, that was a different feeling. put it politely. Yeah, that's it. There was a lot of controversy over you not coaching, and family, like you say, everybody knows what we're like as the Dunphys, as a family. We kill for each other, and that was just one of the decisions. That zero regrets on that. And following year, you went back coaching, and I went back with the boys. And, never missed a beat, you know?
Yeah, like, and then in '98, Darren, I was back and you were back with us. Then we won the provincial again. Then we went to New Brunswick, and that was quite the challenge in New Brunswick when we sent it off against British Columbia in our first game.
Oh, yeah, that was a kill and drag every day. That was awesome.
Absolutely, and we had Elick Turpin with us by then. Elick was a younger boy at that time. Then we had Richard Kelly, so we had some newcomers, and we were strong too.
Yeah, we were.
That was possibly, I feel, the strongest team that I coached. The only thing that happened was Harry Kelly, before we go to the Nationals, he was down there playing in the indoor, and when he was playing in indoor, he got himself injured, and it was a big loss.
Big loss. And even the game with BC, both teams were contenders that year. Two of us BC beat the crap out of each other that we were done. Quebec won our division, and they were the weakest of the three, but us and BC had so many injuries after the first game. It was just one of those games that there was no holes barred. Everything was left on the field. If you can walk off the field, you were coming off bloody, I can tell you that.
I see there, Jamie, it's hard for me to read the monitor here, Jamie, so I can't get it in, but I can see your name that's up there, Jamie, and Darren, you played with both Jamie and Mike.
Aye.
They were great players as well.
Aye, they could shoot that ball as hard as anyone. Nipper Dion was the best I ever seen for a forward. Two of them had the best shots, and they got a hole to it. They put a hole through the goalie if they were getting in the way. So those boys were powerhouse.
Yeah, I think that the Howlets actually had grown up anywhere other than St. Lawrence, and they were related to the Cavalinis. I think the Howlets could have played professional sport. It may not have been soccer, but it definitely would have been hockey or whatever they chose. That they were very talented as well, Darren. You know, so we had many, Darren. You weren't there in 1999. In 1999, I think you moved out of the town onto Grand Prairie. So that's where you've been at ever since. And so, you know, Darren, you did win, I believe it was you won 3 Challenge Cup championships there. You played with Norba Daw. Looking at the players that you played against, Darren, like naming a player home who was the best, well, like you say, I don't think anyone is the best. It's 4 or 5 that you can recognize as core players, and they are the best. And if you lose either one of them, you lose. So your opponents, Darren, on the Burin Peninsula, who would be the best one you played against, or can you know?
You know what? We didn't have. Lucky for us, the other teams forward weren't that good, so I don't think they had a good one to worry about. Right, there's really, you know, Lon had a couple there. Brad Edwards, when he was playing, was hard and good. Right, Marystown really had nothing I thought was any good, so sorry, boys.
Yeah, but when the Pickets...
Bjorn had, like, Albert and them on defense. Their defense was strong. The boys up front were average, you know? So.
Yeah, like Marystown, I think, had a good team there in, that would have been in... when did we beat them? In 1999, I thought they were a great team, but again, they may have lacked a striker. That's, you know, we were blessed in St. Lawrence with many good strikers practically every decade. That may have been the reason we dominated on the Burin Peninsula scene, because the other teams didn't have so much as a great striker there, which definitely impacts, you know, you got to score to win a game of soccer, you know.
Well, when you're fielding provincial teams and you got 7 starters out of St. Lawrence, that tells you the caliber we were at compared to the rest of the province, really.
Yeah, and then like you're looking at when it came to provincial, though, you know, you felt there was a lack of offense on the Burin Peninsula teams, but I feel that that be it Holy Cross and Felians would have had good strikers.
Yeah, Darryl Ezekiel.
Yeah,
on a different team, right? Like Impact Kennedy, they were just lost in the system of Felians. So they were good, but they just didn't have no support. So easy to eliminate 1 or 2 players. Easy for us. Like, you know, we had such talented defense and midfielders that there was nothing to put someone out and take someone out of the game. Like, that was easy. So.
And. With Holy Cross, I know the Breens, you would have played against the Breens and them, eh?
Yeah.
And they were very strong, as I would think. their team were strong collectively as a unit, I would think, and they had great bench strength as well. And that was the difference, I think, with St. Lawrence. Not only did we have good goal scoring, well, you had Paul Manager there in midfield too. You know, Paul Manager was as good as
anyone who came in the Canada along, right?
I would think so. I would definitely think so with Paul Manager there. Then you had, Pickett there, Todd Slaney there. He could play well too.
We had so much talent. Like, it was amazing. We had enough talent to field a second team and probably be 1 and 2 in the province.
Yeah, we felt that as an association that we could field 2 teams.
Not only was first division win, junior, all the intermediate teams were winning everything too.
Yeah. Well, we had the 1, 2, 3, first, second, and third there, and I don't know if you were old enough when we recall that. And I was a part of that program, and I felt our second or third division could compete with Challenge Cup teams in the province, eh?
Exactly. Oh, easy. No problem.
Darren, soccer, do you feel, Darren, right now has taken a turn there? You know, do you feel is at the level of the 70s and the 90s of the, and maybe it's due to overtime, Darren?
Yeah, I just think the biggest problem is just overall Newfoundland has a decreasing population. So when you lose the generations of kids and grandkids and all that, that's the ones that usually hand it down. That's hard to replace. I had 2 young fellows, 24 and 27, who would have been great athletes, like everything else they ever did, and they would have been good in soccer if they grew up in the system, right?
Yeah, like I just think coaching the Laurentians today is no way of what it was in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, or even in the 60s when I remember Jack Lundigan is the first coach that I can remember in 67. But in all due respect, the players all lived in the town. So now trying to coach a group of players, having camps every so often, I don't know if you can you go for a provincial championship? Yes, but can you go for a national championship?
No, and we don't have the numbers. Like Newfoundland don't have the numbers. Along St. Lawrence, we just don't have the numbers no more. Like you gotta realize when you're going in most of these cities in Ontario, their suburbs. It's the same size as all Newfoundland, 500,000 people, right? When you're in British Columbia, they're playing year round. They're playing 40 to 80 games a year. All that. And there's work there, so people don't migrate as much as we do. And then we lose everybody to university, same as we all did. We all went off to school, and it's harder to keep the team, the unity together. And that's a big struggle, and actually it's been amazing how well St. Lawrence has fielded a team for as long as they did, because look at, we're the only team left on the entire Bureau Peninsula, you know what I mean? And that's basically, when we grew up, I remember one time we were into a big discussion over Jeff Warren wanted to come play with us, and we would not pick him up. We said, no way, we're sticking to our own. We got lots of talent in St. Lawrence, and we just fielded all St. Lawrence players. There was nobody else from outside ever played one game as long as I was there.
Well, I think right now, to be quite honest with you, I still feel I'm in support of players coming in and playing with the Laurentians, provided that they are better than anything on the Bureau Peninsula. I think the St. Lawrence team now should look at going outside. If you go outside to the Bureau Peninsula first. Then if you got to go outside, if a star player presents himself to the organization, I'm all in favor. But for a player, just to take an average player in, I think we're doing wrong to the system. And in the long term, it will still hurt because they're not really a benefit. They're just taking players away from the Bureau Peninsula that could be playing with St. Lawrence,
When you look at everybody else, that's from Felians to, besides the Bureau Peninsula teams, Felians, Holy Cross, Mel Pearl, they went and picked up every all-star that was available in the province since day one. None of them had minor league systems like we did. Mel and Pearl tried to duplicate somewhat, but they still picked up anyone from Felians or whoever was available who wanted to go and put their jersey on, where St. Lawrence did it the other way for the longest time. Now it's just times have changed, and due to lack of numbers, we have no other choice to compete with those teams by getting other guys. And I understand that too. But
yeah, and
I was quite glad we didn't. So.
I think we do it now because we have no other choice. But when we were there, we had just as good on the bench that were offering ourselves to come in and play. Right. And I think if, as a coach, and you're going to train a guy every evening, another guy's going to come in for the second round. I just have no part of it. I just think it upsets the whole chemistry of the team, and only players on that team really know what it means to have his player on the field, and the outsider, can be difficult to accept there.
Oh yeah, we always had some controversy with him, but I can tell you that game day when that jersey went on, there was zero controversy. We were all there for one goal to win as a team. We didn't care. One day I'm proud of all the boys. They were great to play with. They're all good men. They all raised good families.
Yeah, I just think it was I think in order to win, you got to feel if you don't win, you're losing something. And I think because you got to put a lot into it, Darin, yourself and Scott and Jackman, and I don't know, we can go on, Norva Doyle, Noel Doyle, Glenn Doyle, go on to manager Hurry, Dion Kittle. You fellas work like dogs.
Right.
And you know what? That's why you got rewarded, because if you lost, when we lost in 91, myself, I went home and cried because we had put so much into Holy Cross didn't deserve the victory.
Right. No, sure, even when we were mining, me and Dave was working in the mine playing first division. Jim Hall, them used to give us him and Clyde Roller used to give us the evening off. We'd go to the game, all the boys would wait for us to get back to see what happened at the game. They all would listen on the radio, so the whole community, not only the players, but the whole community was there for all about winning, and that's all they wanted to hear. And everybody just covered your ass while you were playing soccer and you're still getting paid, So Blake was like, the whole community was amazing,
Yeah, and I'm definitely with you, and I think, some of the highlights of what I've done there in my soccer were definitely coaching my brother. I had you on the team regular when you lived in St. Lawrence. I did have Dave on the team, I believe, in 93, I think it was. And so, in all respect, family home and family on the field, and family, the St. Lawrence community is a family, and that's what gave the Laurentians their strength.
Powerhouse.
Yeah, and how the Laurentians can compete, and even there, the women of the town, they all supported the Laurentians.
Oh, everybody. It was amazing. Like you didn't go nowhere without everybody sitting up talking to you about, every game, and everybody analyzed every play, everybody knew their soccer too. They knew well. Everybody was a coach and a critic at one time. But I tell you, you knew when you put that uniform on and got on the field, you better be performing, because when you got off, you're going to hear about it too. Between Bloods or over at Laurentian or at the clubhouse or whatever.
Again, folks, I'm coming to the end here now. I've had the sun is just so bright here. Yesterday, why are we here on a beach? We were here because of 2 years ago, my daughter made a decision to come to a resort and get married, and it all worked out. The only thing I had hoped that I would have been over my back issues, but when the time come, I just felt that Dad had to travel here regardless of how he felt. And the fact that I do have three of my siblings here, I appreciate that. And then we have a number of the Kent family from Bellon. The young guy, Evan Kent, is from Bellon. The wedding all went beautiful there, and I thank you for coming for that. And in concluding, again, folks, if I haven't got it centered here today, I can't see. It's just too bright here, and I should have probably set up somewhere else different. I didn't have, yesterday I was out and I did it, and I didn't have the same issue that I've gotten today. So anyway, Darin, I thank you, and I thank anyone that made comments. I'm sure Sherry is back there watching that there now. And anyway, so Darin, in conclusion, Darin, of your soccer career in St. Lawrence for the 25 years that you played, be it at the minor level, senior level, if I give you a sentence to summarize of what you felt playing with the Laurentian logo of determination and dedication, what would you say?
A beautiful experience, highly recommended. It's a great life. Lots of great friends that are still good friends, so everything went well.
So, anyway, Darin, again, I thank you for taking the time, because I went they were at breakfast when I met him today. sister Joyce is flying back out today, her and her husband Gerald. So anyway, I asked Darin, why don't we do it here? Because not always are we going to get to meet. I'm back in Newfoundland. Darin's obviously in Grand Prairie and every other part of the world that work takes him. And so anyway, Darin, again, I thank you for joining Gordcast, and I apologize for those that I couldn't read the comments on, or if my video was somewhat distorted or totally distorted. Anyway, I thank you all for joining in, and again, I thank my brother Darin for joining me on Gordcast Special Live here from the sunny beach. Where are we at anyway? Panama. What is it called? Panama Jack Resort in the sunny south. Thank you guys, and thank you for those joining in. And again, I thank Darin very much.